Hi, welcome to Allbrands After Hours with me, Courtney Douthat. Welcome to the show that we...
I would like a rhinestone video.
I'd love to
Can
learn
you
how
please
to
do
do
a
the
rhinestone
kit.
video?
Do
Why
you
haven't
have
you
the
done a
kit? Can you
rhinestone
show
video?
the kit
Do
just
the
a little bit of the
rhinestone
kit,
video.
please? Let's do some rhinestones. I've heard you loud and clear. You guys want to do some rhinestones. So today I will be showing you how to do rhinestones. So, Brother did discontinue the rhinestone kit. I know. Hopefully they bring it back because it was a very cool kit. But if you do have the kit, you can still use it. And if you don't have the kit, I'll show you some ways to still do some awesome rhinestones. Now, there are different things that come in the kit that I will show you. You can, of course, get these separately. So we still do sell the different items to go with it. So don't feel like you're completely at a loss. Now, the number one thing I love is this little tool right here. It's like a little brush, and it brushes all the rhinestones right side up, and we'll show you how to do that. Also, this little picker tool to be able to pick up individual rhinestones is awesome. You've got your clear transfer, and you also have this. This is really important for rhinestones. This is actually a felt paper that you're actually going to cut out the little bitty holes of your design, and push the rhinestones in, and then this flips them all correctly. So let's go ahead and let's jump into Canvas. That way we can pick a design. Alrighty, so we're in Canvas. I prefer the app over the web-based Canvas just for this particular thing. I feel like it's just easier to edit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come here and select Rhinestone. Hit enter, and then all the rhinestone ones that are built in on Canvas are going to come up. You do not have to have the rhinestone kit to be able to get these. Now, if you do have the rhinestone kit, you're going to get way more options to be able to do it. And then you can also take any image you brought in or that are currently on here and turn those into rhinestone designs as well. So if, say, I wanted this shape to be a rhinestone design or this shape over here to be a rhinestone design, I could bring it in, change it to a rhinestone design, and it would just be an editing function that would now be lit up for me. And it would literally take the edges of that and make it into a rhinestone. Or it would make the whole thing a rhinestone. You could pick either or, and you could decide what size you want your rhinestones to be. So the rhinestone kit was really cool for that. So I don't have that on this function right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and select one of the ones that they're giving me. Let's see. Now it's going to pop up with different ones. This is the paper part of this design. Well, I just want the rhinestone part, so I'm gonna select this. Okay, and if I click out of here, there's my rhinestones. Now, let's zoom in just a bit. Now, this outer part is not a part of the rhinestones. It's just that inner part. So I don't want that outer part. So what I'm actually going to do is come over here, and I'm going to go to my layers. So I'm actually going to select this layer, and then I'm just going to delete it out. So I just hit my backspace on my computer, and it deleted it out for me. Now, I could right-click on it and delete it out that way if I wanted to do it that way, but it's up to you. So now that's gone, and it just left me with my rhinestones. So now I'm going to select it and move it over. Now you don't have to move it anywhere, it's just a habit for me to move it there. So I'm actually going to move it right here, and I'm going to put a little bitty space around it, because when I pour my rhinestones into here, it's nice to have a little space around it so rhinestones aren't, falling off and wanting to stick somewhere else. Alrighty, so now once we have our design, we're going to come to File, Export, Transfer, FCM File, because our machine can read an FCM. So we're going to either export FCM file, transfer FCM through the internet, so send it wirelessly to your machine, or send it through a USB cable. Well, I'm going to export FCM file, and I'm going to save it here to my USB. Awesome, so now we have it on our USB. Alrighty, so I have my design here on my USB. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into my machine. Alrighty, so once we get here, we're going to retrieve data. Where are we gonna retrieve it from? Our machine, our Canvas account, our USB? Well, I'm gonna come from a USB. And right here is our design. Hit OK. And there she is. Now, if I wanted to edit this smaller or bigger, it would distort my image. So I don't want to do that. If you're going to do any editing of size and you have the rhinestone kit, do it in Canvas. Don't do it on here because it's not going to enlarge the the rhinestones. Alrighty, so I'm going to use the standard mat, even though this felt has like a papery backing, but it's slick, and I'm not going to push it down on there, so it should be okay, but you could do a Lowe's tack mat. Do not do your fabric mat. It's too sticky. Now, the way that the rhinestone kit works and cutting out rhinestones is you're going to cut the actual, which I love how I wear a dark shirt today, you're going to cut out the actual design out of this felt. Now, you could do a half cut, where you're only cutting the felt and not the paper backing. And it's like a sticker, it's sticky. So what we're going to do is you can actually cut it halfway, or you can cut it all the way through. It's really up to you. I know most people just cut halfway through. I do either or, because I don't usually leave it on this backing. I usually put it on a cardstock, or like a foam board, or a piece of cardboard or something like that, because it's not a one and done. You can keep using this design over and over again because it doesn't get damaged. So usually I put it on the back of there. With your kit, it would have came with a piece of white foam board that was kind of slick, and you could put it on there and keep using it that way. But I like to save mine actually in a drawer, and I just have a bunch of them, that if it's something that I use quite a lot, an image I kind of use quite a lot, I like to have it on hand and keep it. So again, you can keep reusing this. You also have transfer that comes with your kit. You can, of course, get these both items separately, so if you've used them in your kit and you're done with them, or you don't have a kit and you still want to be able to do this, you can purchase it separately. And again, I'll have everything linked. Alright, so we have this. Let's take off the protective sheet off of our ScanNCut mat. And we're going to put the felt on here. There we go. It's a fairly new mat, so I don't need to push it on there, braid it on there. It will hold. So it's on there, and we're going to load it into our machine. Now, we haven't talked about which blade we're going to use. Now, this is a fabric. This is a felt, so I'm going to use this blade right here. This is my fabric blade. So it's your tan fabric blade is the one that I would use to do this. You can use your rotary blade if you really want to, but this one does the job just fine. So I'm going to drop her in, push it down. Now I'm going to select this right here. This is a mat that has a bar, because I want to scan in my material, make sure my design is centered on that piece of felt. So I've scanned it in to make sure that my design is centered on here. Now, if I move it right here, it could be centered. Now, of course, you don't have to move it to the center. I could move it over here, and that way I could save any of this that I wanted to. But I do like to keep it a little ways away from it. That way, when I'm pouring my rhinestone, nothing too much goes off. Alrighty, so we're okay with this. Please select. Do we want to cut? Do we want to draw? Do we want to emboss? Do we want to foil? I want to cut. Alrighty, now half cut is currently turned off. Again, you can cut all the way through. It doesn't really matter because we're going to peel that thing off of there anyways. But just for the fun of it, I'm going to select this wrench icon, scroll down one, and turn half cut on. Hit OK, and start. Now, if you haven't watched any of these videos before, you're just starting out, half cut is when it will only cut through half of that material. I showed you how it had a paper backing. Well, now the machine's gonna know when that paper backing starts and only want to cut through that top material. So it won't cut all the way through. It's just gonna cut through that top part. That's super helpful if you're doing vinyl of any kind, heat transfer or pressure sensitive vinyl, just to be able to cut halfway through that. There she goes, she's off. Think how tedious this would have been done by hand. While she's cutting out, of course, I want to remind you, I will be at OSQE in New Orleans, so Kenner, Louisiana, around that area. And I'll pop the information on the screen. I will be doing ScanNCut demos, just saying hey, hanging out, doing some fun projects. So definitely come out and come see us. We're going to have so many awesome vendors and just a ton of education. So it's going to be a really good time. So if you haven't signed up to come to that event, definitely come in and come say hi in person. Another thing is we reached 11,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I am flabbergasted. We just hit 10. And we're gaining way more. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing and joining our awesome community. I'm blown away. That's really, really cool. Thank you again so much. If you're a new subscriber, hi. If you've been here a while, also hi. We're excited to have you. Alrighty. Oh my goodness, it doesn't even look like it cut. Like, isn't that cool? Like, you can barely tell. Now, let's go ahead and we're gonna get it off our mat. And we are done with that mount. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's so cool. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out. You can barely tell it cut. Now, what you can do is you can actually peel the, I think it's like a velvety material. You can peel this black fabric off and go ahead and put, look how one of the dots is sticking. You can peel this off and actually put it on something else, like I said, foam board, piece of cardboard that you have, anything like that to save it, because I mean it saves it a little bit better than flimsy material. Or if you want to keep it on this backing, you totally can. Now we're just going to weed out the parts we don't want. So inside of each one of those little dots, I'm going to just poke it out with my weeding tool. And if you can't see it real well, if you have a light box, you could put that on there and that would shine through to be able to see your design a little bit better. Alrighty, so don't worry, I'm going to time lapse so you don't have to watch me do each one of these. Now another way is you can pull this up like that. Let's see if I can do this better. You could pull up like that and then just poke them right through this. How easy is that? The reason I like cutting all the way through and not doing a half cut like most people do is if this was cut all the way through, all I would have to do is go boop, 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 and it would poke out each dot for me. So it's personal preference. That's usually what I like to do. I know it's not the correct way to do it, but it makes it so much faster. So I'm just gonna sit here and weed out all these little dots. So in the time that I've been weeding this out, and I have been weeding, I've been sitting here just weeding this thing out. I'm gonna do it my way. Now, again, a lot of people don't agree with this. They do half cut. This is so much faster. Okay, so I cut it out and I did all the way through. So if you notice on my mat are pieces of this. But now, if I come in, I can just go boop, 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 and cut it out and get all those little black parts. And they're not super sticky because the paper backing's on most of them. So, and I'm gonna get my design way faster than weeding out every single one of these little dots. So I like it my way, but again, it's up to you what you want to do. This is just a lot faster. And again, I mean, the paper backing stays on a lot of them, so they're not super sticky. Some of them are, because the paper backing just stayed on the mat, which I can just get off. But again, this is so much faster. It's so much faster. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna weed this one out. This one's great, but man, that takes forever. So that's the proper way to do it, but this is so much better. So I'm gonna weed out this, and again, I'll put you on a time lapse. Another good tip is if you're having trouble seeing it on this side, flip it over. You can see it perfectly fine on there, and you can just go boop, boop. You have to make the noise when you do it though. I've got a little bit of debris to clean up here. Now, if you wanted to, and you were gonna do a half cut, you could take your brayer tool and go over the design to hopefully get these little things to stick on there on the paper a little bit better, and then peel off the main design. And then that way, most of them stay on the paper, but that's if you're gonna put it on like a foam board or, again, whatever you wanna put it on to save it. So you could do that and you might not have as big of a mess. Crafting's messy, okay? We're just gonna go with it. I think I got rid of all the dots. Oh, no, I found one. All right, now I think I got rid of all the dots. All right, so now we have our design. How cool is this? What, can you see it better here? How cool is this? We have our design. So what I could do is I could just leave it on my table and then pour them on there and, you know, do it that way and then transfer tape. I would have to make sure it didn't shift on here. Or again, I could peel it off of this paper backing and put it on something else, like a cardboard or cardstock or something like that, to be able to do it that way. So it's really up to you what you prefer. So I'm actually going to take a piece of cardstock. Again, usually I use foam board. I don't have any next to me right now, and I don't feel like looking for them. So I'm just going to do it on a piece of cardstock. Okay? There we go. All right, so we have this here. I'm going to take it off the back here. It's just like a big sticker. and I'm going to put it down on here. Actually, let's put it to the center. Okay. And then we're done with this. Alrighty, now you have different rhinestones, different sizes. Alright, so again, with the rhinestone kit, it was great because you could pick exactly what size rhinestone you wanted. So you have different sizes, like these little small guys are these bigger guys. Now these little small guys are gonna fit better into here, so I'm going to pick those. And what you're going to do is you're literally just gonna open your pack of rhinestones. Now these are hot fix rhinestones, which means that there's technically a glue on, not technically, there is a glue on the back of these that will heat it up or be heated by an iron to be able to adhere onto whatever you're doing. So I'm going to just dump them in there. And you can be generous with this. All right, so there we go. Poured all of our rhinestones, and we're going to take our little brush, the little soft brush, and we're going to lightly just comb them around. And what this brush is going to do is it's going to make them go into their little slots, and they're going to be sitting right side up. So just going around, combing it around. And you're not being rough again, you're just being soft with it, because if you did put one in there and it's the correct, you know, way and stuff like that, well, I don't want to disturb that. So I'm just softly going over it. And with the extra rhinestones, I'm just pushing them away. Okay. I think I got most of them except one right there. Come on, get in there. There she goes. Oh, there's one over here that's missing. Put that one in there. It's kind of relaxing. All right, now I'm gonna check my design. It's perfect. Literally every single one of them dropped perfectly. I was gonna show you the fact that if one of them didn't drop in there perfectly, I could come use this tool right here to be able to select an individual rhinestone and pick it up to go put it where I wanted. But I mean, all of them dropped in there beautifully, so I don't even need to do that. But if you need to do that, that is a kit. I don't know what the magical properties of this brush is, but it's fantastic. It's crazy. So I pushed all the rhinestones, the rest of them, out of the way. I did keep them on my paper because I can fold that cardstock up and just slip them right into their little baggie. There we go. Now you don't have to do it with hot fix rhinestones. You could do it with just regular rhinestones, but you would have to glue each one of those individually on there. With the hot fix rhinestones, it's already got that on the back, so you just heat it up to something. But if you wanted to put rhinestones on like a cup or something like that, you could still do this method. Just use regular rhinestones, not hot fixed rhinestones with glue on the back of them. Maybe flip the template over, put a piece of glue, a little bit of glue on each back one, then press it to it. But then I would wait for it to dry before you peel. I'm going on a tangent, but you could do it. So now we're going to take our transfer. Okay. And we've got our clear part, and we're just going to put it, oops, one of my rhinestones is crooked. One of my rhinestones actually is crooked. Ha, I get to use the tool. Is that weird that I'm excited to use the tool? All right, there we go. There it is. Let me check the rest of them. Why didn't you guys tell me? There it goes. All right, so now we'll take our transfer. Now, the thing with the transfer paper is if I was to stick it on here and go really slow and kind of, the rhinestones are going to come up and the static's going to make them go all over the place. So when you are putting this down on your design, go fast. That way it doesn't get a chance for it to shift at all. I know that sounds crazy, but it really will move them. So when you're doing it, go down fast. Don't hesitate or anything like that. You can, of course, flip it over and use your tool to move any that you need to move. But again, I've noticed if I go fast, it works the best. All right, ready, set, go. Perfect. It's perfect. All right, so we're just gonna go like this over it. And they stick pretty well to the transfer, so it's not like you have to go really hard on it or anything. All right, all right, you ready to pull it up? Ta-da! How cool! How cool is this? This is cool. I like how I answered for myself. It's cool. Now, if you notice, this is perfectly fine. Nothing happened to this. So if I wanted to come back and put more rhinestones and do it all over again, so say you were doing this for like a team, a cheerleading team, and you wanted rhinestones on each one of their uniforms, if you wanted to put it on a bow and each one of the team members get the exact same thing, you could do that. How easy would this be? And just have their logo and then do rhinestones on every single one of them. I don't know why I think of rhinestones, I think of cheerleaders, but you could do that and then make the design again if you wanted to. I like how I'm coming up with different ideas. So again, with this paper, all I'm gonna do is go like this, make them all go back towards the center, take my little bag, and then I'm just gonna pour my rhinestones right back in my bag because I'm not gonna waste these because rhinestones are expensive. Ignore the ones that just fell on my table. So I have my rhinestones here, my little kit, my little rhinestone design right here on my transfer, and I have this koozie that I've been really wanting to embellish with something. So this would actually fit perfectly in the center. Now I'm going to grab a piece of fabric, nothing special, just a spare piece of fabric that I have, because what I'm going to do is actually use it as a barrier between my hot iron and this design. Now this plastic transfer, I don't want to put an iron to that. I've seen a lot of people put irons to it, and that's 100% up to you. If your iron's getting hot, not getting hot enough that it can melt this, that makes me worried that it's not going to heat up those rhinestones as well. So if you're very gentle, okay, put your iron to that, but I personally don't. I put a protective cloth in between that. And if you don't shrivel up that transfer, you can keep using it. As long as it's sticky, you can keep using it. If I put an iron directly to that, it's going to shrivel it up, and then I wouldn't be able to keep reusing it. So that's why I personally don't put an iron straight to it. But it's up to you. Let's take our design, and we're going to put it right onto our koozie. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. All right, I'm just gonna press it down a little bit. And again, we're going to put a piece of cotton fabric, whatever you want, thin cotton fabric in between that so that iron isn't directly touching that. And we're gonna put our iron straight to it. Now, apply a little bitty pressure, doesn't have to be a ton of pressure. If you have a press, you could always do it with a press and that would apply even pressure. Okay, so the fabric down. And it doesn't take much to heat up these rhinestones. The ones I'm using are from Brother, the good rhinestones, have a good glue on them, so it's nothing crazy that I have to do or do it for a long time. If you are doing it with a press, very, very little time. Do not do that. Now the rhinestones, a lot of them will tell you the temperature they prefer to be heated at, and that usually is on the packaging, so you could do that. Alrighty, I think we're good. A great way to test it is come to a corner, and you're gonna peel up. And you notice how none of the rhinestones want to stick to this? I usually recommend to leave it on there for a few minutes, let it cool down, but this one did beautifully. And if you notice, our transfer tape, it's not, our transfer taper isn't bundled up or bunched up, so I can put it back on the protective backing and use it again. So I'm saving material and saving myself some money. So now that we have it on there, I wouldn't put the iron straight to there again to give it a final seal. I would put that protective cloth back on there because that rhinestone, some of them have plastic, and I don't think an iron and plastic are friends. So I'm just gonna give it one final seal. There we go. How pretty is that? Oh my God, rhinestones make everything better. How pretty. Now, if you had a software, and this is Allbrands, this is Courtney, or I guess just Courtney, in case Allbrands doesn't like this. This is Courtney. If you had a software that could turn these any line into circles, or you could create it that way, there's your workaround. You can make any image into it. So that's up to you. That's between you and your machine. But that is a workaround. So this one came from Canvas. This is a free design with Canvas. Again, if you have the rhinestone kit, you have way more designs at your disposal. But if you don't, there are a few on there that you can use. If you have a Brother 330, it's a Disney model. So there are a few Disney designs that are rhinestone designs built onto that machine. So if you have a 330, you have rhinestones in your machine already. I think it's like 3 or 4. But again, Canvas has a few. So if you do want to do rhinestones, you can without the kit. But if you have the kit, you can turn anything to a rhinestone design. So very, very helpful and awesome to have. So how pretty. I'm just going to sit here and let it shimmer for a bit. How cool is that? Now, since this is a koozie, all I have to do is take the two inner parts of the koozie, sew up the sides like that, flip it inside out, and now I have an adorable koozie to use whenever I want. How cute. Oh, I love it. This is so cool. I might actually put water and work out. No, I'm not. All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please come back next week. We'll be even having more fun with the different crafts. Let me know in the comment section what you guys want to see from me, and I'll be happy to do it. And if you have any ScanNCut questions, of course, put them down there. If you haven't subscribed, of course, subscribe already, because who wouldn't want to hang out with me all the time? Y'all have a good night. Bye.